Hey people, uh, we're back with the PU Cast, me, Gulch, the Sky, Ming, and Slowbroth. We'll be covering over some PU games, not as many as last time though. We'll also be looking at just the playoffs race because it's incredibly tight right now, with every team but the Stoners really just still being very much in the race. And we'll also talk about the replacement for the goodras, as they do get one with a recent banning of a certain player. And we'll probably start off with the playoffs odds math, which, Gulch, please lead us through that, because you have done some incredible Gulch math.
Oh boy. Okay. So, the only thing we know confirmed, like 100%, is that Snatchers are in. I did say the Stoners were out. But, oh yeah, thank you. I did say the Stoners were out. They probably are, but there is still a road to playoffs for them. It's not likely, but it can happen. Haunters just need to, not lose the next 2 weeks. And if they do, they just kind of have to hope that the Mags, Turbo Bomb, or the Goodras Turbo Bomb, one of the two.
The Haunters are finished.
Yeah, no, honestly, the fact that they've been, with the exception of 1 week, consistently winning, and they're still not locked into playoffs is kind of insane.
Who are they playing?
Right now, they are playing us. Yeah, Snatchers.
Oh, so it's going to be really interesting if you win.
Yeah, I was going to say, the next 2 weeks, for us, don't matter, but in terms of, the overall scheme of things, they do matter a bit, especially depending on, some other results this week, because if Goodras lose this week, then they are really just praying for us to win and not give the Pranksters that extra point. But if Pranksters get 2 wins, or a win and a tie, they could be in. If the Haunters lose both of their upcoming weeks, they can end with 1 win as long as they keep their differential up.
What a way that would be to choke the season, though, for the Haunters. Just destroying everyone and then potentially crashing and burning the last 2 weeks. Or 3.
4 consecutive wins and then 3 consecutive losses disqualifying you from playoffs that's actually just really unfortunate.
That's a laptop puncher right there.
Yeah, absolutely. If they win against the Goodras, then their Week 7 does not matter, because that means only the Snatchers, Haunters, and Mags can get 8 or more points. So they're in, at least 4 seed by default.
There should still be some maybe some differential thing. I don't know if we can catch up to them.
It could, it depends. Well, no, because that means that
but they point destroy us then.
Yeah, the point benchmark, because Lures and Lurks can only get to 7, and then y'all can get to 9, and then Haunters are already at 8, and then Snatchers are at 9, and then the Goodras would be the only other team that can get to that benchmark, and then they're taken out of it by a loss. So this week is just very, very important for pretty much everyone.
I think the main, I was gonna say the main hype one was Pranksters Goodra, because that's gonna be an actual fight to the death.
That is the single most important matchup this week, because most teams, it is better for them if the Pranksters win, just because the Goodras are a little bit closer in that race, and if they lose, then they're available to give that spot away. But if the Pranksters super tank, then it's pretty much the same. Like,
Oh, if
they
they
do
get
still have to work
destroyed.
a lot harder with a goodras win. Because if the pranksters tank, then they're at 6 points, which means that,
That's not enough.
with the exception of the stoners, everyone else can go over.
Yeah, and who do pranksters have in the last week?
Snatchers.
Oh, you could do some crazy gatekeeping.
Yeah. Which, if they win this week, then nobody gives a shit. So that's just gonna be like whatever.
Yeah.
But if they lose this week, then that's gonna be, yeah, like you said, that's gonna be a real dogfight. For them.
Goodras
got-
have the stoners in last, which should be a blessing. However, the stoners are maybe waking up.
They're up 1 as of right
They're up
now,
1.
so maybe.
And if any one of them dead games, that's even less games to get to the tie.
Yeah. Goodras need 2 wins if they can hold differential over the mags, or they just want the mags to not get 2 wins. If they beat the pranksters and then get a tie against the stoners, they want the pranksters to lose or tie, and then, or the mags lose both, or the mags
happening.
also get a win and a tie, but their differential's worse. Which, for everyone watching at home, that is within a margin of 1.
Yep.
So that is going to be like extremely tight numbers wise. They can also, if they lose to the pranksters, the mags have to lose to the goalers, but not by a lot. The lures can't win super big against the stoners, and then the winner of lures and mags has to have either less points or worse differential, and then the lurks can't win big against the honors. Like, it's a lot that has to happen, but it is still very possible.
Mm-hmm. Lurks are kind of a comeback story. I like it.
Yeah, lurks are actually like very in this. It is going to be a bit rough because I'll get to that later. But like I said, the stoners are the only team on the board right now that's not like super in the playoff race, and even they could get in if a lot of certain things go their way.
Mm-hmm.
Mags, if they can get a differential lead over the goodras, or if the goodras lose or tie in the upcoming weeks, they can get in with just 2 wins.
I mean, just 2 wins. I mean,
They can
I'd
make
rather
it
you
in.
say like a win and a tie, but I mean, we're gonna win both, sure.
Okay. I mean, yeah. I mean, this is also like depending on results, but a win and a tie if the goodras lose, or if they also win and tie, but y'all get better differential, is possible. 1 win and a loss if the goodras lose out, and then the team that the mags lose to doesn't win their other week. So if you lose to the lures, good luck.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you mean the lurks or the lures?
No, the lures, because the lures have stoners this week. So good.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, shit, yeah.
Don't lose week 7, or you're not going to playoffs.
Oh, the stoners, man! The stoners are still here for the goodras and the lures.
Yeah, that's the other thing, is that there are 2 teams who are in this playoff race that have what you could very aptly call a free win in the upcoming weeks, which is a bit rough for everyone else involved, especially for the Golurks, because they and the lures are in this weird love triangle here with the mags, where they both want the mags to lose both games. That is the optimal road to playoffs for them. Or, well, okay, they can get in with 2 ties. Like, if the lures win or tie against the mags, and then if the lures win, they need to not win against the stoners. And then they also need the goodras to lose twice, lose and tie, tie both, or like do anything except for win.
We gotta like spirit bomb the pranksters, man.
Pretty much. If the goodras, like, if they tie both weeks, or if they win and lose one, the Golurks do have to win by a wide enough margin to get the extra differential. And if the goodras win both weeks, then the pranksters have to lose week 7.
That's nuts. Do you want to segue this into like predictions or something like that?
We could, yeah.
Because next thing you had was talk about replacement, but I think we can kind of segue into predictions right now. Just some quick ones.
Yeah, that works. Because a lot of these are, again, like really, really important games.
Yeah. So starting off would be my team, the Mags, against the Lurks. I will say I'm pretty confident against Seraphs. He's a younger Brazilian player. I heard about him first around PTPL, which was around last year. It was like him along with Ryu Snow, a user that is now banned, and like some other upcoming Brazilian players. They're like a fun bunch. I also helped him. I supported him in BLT finals, and he did win that. So we are like, we know each other. I don't know if we're friends.
You're like aware of the threat.
So yeah, I did help him in BLT finals, and we did play in PU Open, where I hacked him in both games and won. And not gonna lie, he should have won those games. But I do think I quote-unquote outplayed him in those games, even despite hacking. It's just my teams are really bad, so to speak. Or like his matchup was really good. I mean, I was using some good shit, but he came really well prepared. Like, I was bringing some team that only gets 6-0'd by Delphox, and he brought a Delphox. And kind of had to dodge something.
We got some other interesting SV matchups. Toother and Taka.
Toother's been
stories and
Toother is 3-2, but I don't think any of his wins were like super crazy. But I have faith. He's good on the sheet warrior.
Yeah, but also a lot of people have been predicting, and I say a lot of people, I mean me and MZ, because no one else is doing predicts. Taka does have the momentum here. He is riding a streak with a couple wins.
He did just have a great win on Hoenn, and he also had that great Sandaconda win. That was a really fun game.
He's 3-0 in the past 3 weeks. Shit.
Yeah, shit. So the Hoenn game was kind of, I didn't really like it too much. It was mostly just clicking psychic moves against a team with no resist.
Yeah. I suppose you could call that just better prep, but
yeah,
still.
You could also just call that better prep. Run a steel type, man. What are you doing?
We finally have one too. Like,
oh yeah, Skunk's still broken. Story is Boof.
Yeah.
Boof's been doing well, but I think the quality of his wins has been a little worse. Just personally.
Yeah. Although the only loss is to Kios, which is actually fairly impressive considering the run they've been on.
No. I mean, Q's is like, he can beat anyone for sure, but he can also lose to anyone. It's like a very volatile character.
Yeah, like Drip, Sufis, and then Ishtar, and then Ampha that's not a bad set of wins, I think. Like
Ampha, I'm pretty sure he choked.
Ampha did choke pretty bad, yeah.
Ampha did not. He spent a turn clicking something that was not Shadow Sneak on a turn that he should have been Shadow Sneaking on. That was the choke, if anything.
Oh.
But
it was also like a pretty unfortunate bring of Floatzel into Gastro, which is, I guess, what you get when you bring niche picks. Floatzel's like one advantage I can think of is flip turn, speed, and I mean, this is 3 advantages. And also that it can kinda kill Altaria, but like, it's fucking Altaria, man.
Yeah, it kinda is just Inteleon cope.
Yeah, it is like a physical Inteleon that's kinda coping. Because there's so much like stuff to pin it. There's so much physical punish. Like, the best physical attackers right now are, like, Decidueye and Scrafty, and they don't really care about static and shit.
The other issue with it is the fact that, like, most of the stuff people are doing to prep for Wet Bull is already prepping for Floatzel too.
Yeah. Besides Altaria, but, I mean, still, you still need to, like, click the Ice Spinner on Altaria, which is... like,
I mean, and
exploitable.
even then, Bull can just Stone Edge.
Yeah. I actually, maybe I should run Stone Edge more, but I do remember recently I stalled an Altaria out of Roosts by just like pivoting around it and attacking it with Red or Wet Bull or something. Choice Band, of course. And I think that speaks for my like dislike of Altaria and how you can play around it, even with
Reluminati versus Blood Ace. Like I said, Blood Ace is good. I just don't think he has the momentum that he needs to turn this one around.
Blood Ace to me, no offense, is not on that level yet. Like I actually do test with Blood Ace a lot in ZU, and he's like my gauge of like, if my team is losing to Blood Ace, I'm probably not going to bring this to tournament.
Okay, well, I will say this too. For the Golurk specifically, their Sword Shield slot has been their poverty slot, and I, Hera, apologies, but this is on you too. Your team is winless in this slot in this tournament.
Oh, winless!
Every week, this slot.
Yeah,
This
Hera
slot has been an L every week for them.
And then
this is their third member.
And then Azo bombed. And then they put Hera back, and then Hera bombed again. And then they put Blood Ace in last week, and he lost.
Yeah. Now, I can't necessarily point to any like one factor to say why exactly the Sword Shield slot has folded for them, but it has, and it's definitely their weakest slot. And I think they at this point know it's their weakest slot. So it's interesting, one, that they're keeping Blood Ace after he got pretty thoroughly handled last week by OBB. Great read, won a grassy terrain bring. And then just kind of like C-team that. So it's interesting to see how that might switch up this week, whether or not he'll bring grassy terrain again as someone who maybe isn't as familiar with the tier, or if Hera will like build him something like more balancy, gigalith, sandy, bat oriented, kind of your standard Sword Shield nonsense.
Yeah.
Did you guys notice that Golurk's eyes are the lost meme?
God
man.
Damn it.
Sorry.
I do think that keeping Blood Ace in this slot is kind of just like, if I'm Lurk's management at this point and I'm looking at the SS slot, I don't give a shit anymore, man. Like, as long as somebody's in there and they're playing the game.
Other ones, yeah.
Like, we've lost this 5 weeks in a row, dude.
Oh, and it reminds me of
a great
players.
Kind of. Yeah.
Okay, continue, Ming.
I was going to say this is kind of like indicative of how I don't want to say a lot of their old gens have been. But if we move on to Sun Moon, Sun Moon is in not a much better situation.
Yeah.
I think it was Ziri behind the sticks. Pretty sure that was who it was before this week, right?
Yeah.
I think
Ziri is 1-4.
Yeah, so, you have an 0-5 Sword Shield slot. You have a 1-4 Sun Moon slot. Even like Black-White is doing... Oh. Well, Black-White is actually doing quite good.
No,
that's
they got the go.
That's their like one... Yeah, that's their one good old gen slot. But I think Oras, they're also like kind of struggling. They're like 1-4 in Oras, I think.
Overall, yeah.
ADB, I'm pretty sure they're also 1-4. Like across the board with their old gens, you're seeing a lot of 1-4s. You're seeing the 0-5. So their Scarlet Violet, conversely, has been very, very good. All three of their guys really have been on like win streaks. They're positive on the sheet. They're doing a really great job of kind of holding current gen down, but it's really the question now of whether or not their old gens can give them something to work with, right? It'll be interesting to see how that pans out.
I want to take credit for some of Seraph's growth. I just do. I taught him some shit.
Yeah. Also, to the credit of their old gens, their DPP has been okay. Frank has been holding his own. Lost to Sawa, lost to Lenny, won versus Jabba, and then beat Trix and Dunux. So, like, it's not the worst slot in the world. He's doing fine. It's just, he looks a lot better by comparison because of, everything else on the sheet.
Mm-hmm. Actually, on the flip side, our SM also isn't really looking pretty so far. We get bullied by Rian for it a lot. Like, he always tells us how trash our teams are. Yeah.
He is just... Like, that's the thing, it looks like he's trying.
He is, but...
And he's playing okay sometimes. Like, his game versus Sugar Ovens, I really didn't like. But I think it just comes down to his teams not working out for him.
Not really. I mean, I think he's just having an off season because I did watch his game against PU quite closely, and it was definitely winnable with some turns where he just straight up won if he clicked like the most obvious move, and he didn't. So, well, we still have faith in many, and we don't exactly have an SM subbed anyway. But
yeah.
But we have faith he'll bounce back. We did get him for 12k, so there's belief here. And who else? So, or as King Carp. King Carp's been doing really well. He choked last week, but like at that point the week was already won. But a choke's a choke, whatever. He's still doing well.
Positive.
Yeah, still positive. Black White Drud, shaky game last week, but Drud is the winningest player on the sheet, as described by the PR. So he should be fine. Although LPZ is a giga threat.
Yeah. I think LPZ is just gonna is close enough to Drud in terms of skill level that him knowing more about the tier is probably gonna be able to carry him through.
I'm hoping LPZ forgets about this tournament, locks in for Grand Slam, because, the teal trophy is much cooler than PUPL winner banner. Hello?
Yeah, but does Slam give you a custom avatar? No.
Surely it does. It's an official.
I think it does. But also, I think for LPZ specifically, he lost the shot at a perfect season last week with loss to the TAC from the Chain Snatchers.
Oh, TAC is good though.
So, it's interesting to see how he'll bounce back from that. Whether or not that'll quote unquote put him on tilt, which I doubt, or he'll just kind of come out gunning to get back in the win column after the first.
The only player that can tilt. I think the only player that can actually tilt LPZ is the Franklin. They have some personal one-sided beef there.
No, I understand that. LPZ did lose, so this is funny too. In 2 of the opens this year, I think it was I matched into LPZ for the round. I lost the round, but then he on the next round matched into Franklin, and in both of those rounds, also he lost. So it was kind of just funny that happened twice, but I definitely see where some of that may be.
Yeah, and the losses were also like freezes and stuff. So LPZ got kind of rustled from that.
Yeah.
He made playoffs, right? So
yeah, but I think he'll be fine. I think he'll be. I don't think he'll have a mindset issue against Drud, but you can't even say his focus will be split because LPZ plays 20 tournaments every week, and I'm not even joking. He's if you've seen his spreadsheets, he actually does play 20 games a week.
He showed me his stuff before.
Yeah,
he showed me his weekends.
He has entire
boys are
games.
booked.
So yeah, that game is gonna be cool. I think. Beats Black, Frank, Josh. Beats Black has been doing well. He's our best player.
Yeah. Unfortunate for the Lurks that their most consistent old gen, aside from they're both of their most consistent old gens are running into tough matchups here.
Mm-hmm.
ADV is definitely going to be interesting. I think MZ said it's going to be really funny if Plague's only win is versus Broth, and then he just flunks out versus the rest of the pool.
And don't forget, Plague, he beat Monai in ADVPO, so...
Yeah, that's the thing. Is that in ADVPU, he has a track record of getting wins versus, like, threats in the pool, and then after that, just not doing super well besides.
Mona is -2, so I
Yeah,
have
Mona's
a
been having
slight
a rough
worry,
time.
but I do think Mona is just should still fundamentally be better and should win. But
There are a lot of
I don't know.
shocking records in the
I also
ADV
don't
pool
really
this
want to
season
lose this
anyway.
one because Plague Doc reached out to me before the draft to say draft me, and I was like, "You're cool, but I don't know if I'd start you, man." And so yeah, he can't win this. Please.
I was just saying, yeah,
Please,
that is
Monai.
a bad look.
PDT just drew. Trust me, PDT is locking in. Trust.
I mean, PDT has had both of these guys really have had maybe a little bit of a expectations coming in but Just Drew is coming off a quality win. And PDT, I think, also did he win last week? I don't remember what PDT.
No,
did he?
He dead games.
Yeah, PDT did not.
Oh,
play
it was
last
Danny, right? It was a dead game. Yeah.
Our Suzy loss was
Right, it was
pretty
Dan?
tough.
I was say, but this is why we keep the best of 3 slot.
But yeah, actually, excuse me. I do like Just Drew's adaptation to the old gens because this draft definitely didn't have a best of 3 player in mind. They just like got people, and I think they just chose Drew to do the job of best of 3. But despite a rocky start, he's adapted quite well, I'd have to say.
He's
I mean, 2
trying
and
his
1 over
best.
the last 3 games. Pulled out very convincing wins in Sun Moon and Sword Shield last week versus Suzuya. Yeah, I mean, I really have liked what I have seen from him lately.
Mhm.
Meanwhile,
I think
PDT
the
is
Old gens players.
no shade to PDT, but on a bit of a slide right now. So it's motivation for him to
it's
try and
not a
break
slide.
out of it. Right?
Trust me, it's not a slide. It's just getting out of a rocky start, but he's gonna.
Well,
pop.
he won his first game. He won his first set, I think.
Okay,
Right?
the first set was sort of a pity win.
It was a Mickey.
Okay, listen, I'm trying to say something good about it because if you look at the sheet, then he lost 3 weeks in a row. Now, albeit to strong players and Mence and T. Nunez. But then also versus our last ranked member of the best of 3 pool in Suzuya, which is also Suzuya's only win on the sheet. So, listen, this is an important week. There's a lot of things on.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things riding on this week. So if there's any time for PDT to step up, I think it's here.
No, PDT
This is where the 20.5K buy. This is like when you need them to start hitting stride. Crunch time. Yeah. The team needs this in order to kind of secure a standing, or a safer standing into the playoff race. So if there's any time you need him to step up, now would be it. And I'm very excited to see kind of what he brings versus Just Drew, who is, again, someone who I think has been hot recently. And has been doing really well in the old gens. Yeah.
Against Suzuya, I kind of sabotaged him. I just gave him I gave him a team I used for Suspect Rex. We brought 2 Regirocks that week, and Regirock I think is a really underrated win con as long as it doesn't run into Golurk, because it's kind of helpless into Golurk. But besides that, it can actually like insanely win con games, and with Terra Poison, you're immune to like Belly Bolt Toxic too. But we unfortunately ran into 2 Golurks with our 2 Regirocks that week, and I don't know. I feel like that game must have been a little tilting. But we'll bounce back.
Considering our number 1 cheerleader making an appearance as well.
Oh, what you mean? Mr. Big Tony?
Hoenn.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I'm actually unfazed by Hoen's trolling because I've dealt with that like for half of my life, like people like that
yeah.
that just try to like.
PDT was not.
Yeah, PDT got a little frustrated by it, but to me, it's like he's obviously trying to like get under your skin, like it's just a joke, but yeah, we'll have
Honestly, props to Drew for managing to win versus the instigator team.
Yeah. I think that would be it for that matchup. Next would be Lures versus Stoners, which was predicted by MZ or someone or you to be a 10-0, and that's
No, that was
wrong.
Tony. That was Tony.
Oh, yeah, it was predicted to be a 10-0, but already down 0-1.
Yeah, so Tone Lenny already played, and Tone came out on top, which is okay. It could mean nothing. It could mean everything. Right?
Yeah.
Because Townstoners are out of contention. From what I've heard from like talking to kind of their members, their chat has kind of really fallen apart after their kind of abysmal
I will say,
stuff.
they do actually have a chance to make it in, but literally everything has to go their way. We are talking like big wins, goodras completely flunk out, and then some really specific shit happens with the Mag's love triangle. But it is possible.
And they also need to be aware of this possibility, because I don't think they are. Because if they were, Kennex would
I
not
don't
have
think they
backlost
care.
versus me. Yeah. So Cuse versus Suffis is actually pretty interesting. I think it's closer than most people imagine, because I think Cuse is a very volatile player. He is a ladder tour champion, and he has shown us he can get the best wins, but
Sometimes he brings two cannons.
I am truly... I'm not a hater. I do actually think he's one of the cooler builders and players in SV overall, but I do think he's volatile. Like, sometimes he just makes these plays that are very ladder hero-y. For example, like early Terras or something like that. Like greedy ladder stuff. Yeah, but besides that, he can also be extremely solid, so... Same kind of goes for Suffis. I don't think Suffis is that bad.
Yeah,
he's negative, and
there
his
is
wins,
the issue of possible tilt. I mean, I would assume he does want to go positive if possible.
Yeah, he does.
If he loses this, then that's not happening. So I do think that there is some motivation there.
He's definitely the most motivated on the team, to be honest.
Oh yeah, he's the only person on this roster that gives a shit. Like, no one else in this lineup cares.
Yeah, he's like the main yapper.
Exactly. Like, Tier went 0-3 and then went to go play AGPL. Axotix has been doing fine, but at this point, I'm not sure how much effort he's going to be putting in if playoffs is gone. He actually went negative so far too.
Oh damn!
Nobody here cares about the way this week goes. I mean, PU might want to win just to say he did it.
Mm-hmm.
That can happen. But
oh, actually, yeah, PU does take pride in always doing well in team tournaments, so maybe he locks in. Danny dipped. He's off to win the Grand Slam trophy.
I was gonna say, yeah, Danny went to get Milk and Cigs, Avarice dipped, fucking everyone here.
They're 4-0 and 3-0 dipped. Actually, this is cooked.
Everyone's abandoning ship. The game's over.
But actually, these matchups aren't... Okay, I don't believe in Phoenix versus Lax. I think Lax is just gonna...
I don't believe in Phoenix SV.
Yeah. Balur, Axertix, I think this actually is in favor of Axertix. No troll. And Q's Suffis could go anyway.
I feel like Lure is gonna lock in with playoffs being super on the line right now.
I do, but I also don't know if his locking in will be effective, because they both had to lock in during ladder tournaments. Just the laddering phase. And only Axertix came out of that alive. Actually, Balur's ladder tour laddering was a bit tragic. He played 200 games, didn't make it.
Yeah, I know Lore's been like putting a lot of effort into his prep. I know he's been like cooking really hard with his team. He's been like asking other people for input on his teams and stuff, and like
that's interesting.
helping scouts. Yeah, like he's been like super duper tryharding this.
Oh, actually, true. I did get a random DM from him when he thought he was DMing someone else for like prep.
Oh my!
He was like, "Oops."
Yeah, but he's been like super duper tryharding for this tour. I think it's just like, generally speaking, his kind of tendency to use unconventional builds, plus the fact that the masterminds behind most of the SV bullshit on this team are Kius and ZS, is somewhat of a detriment to him in some cases.
Definitely
Like-
the out-of-the-box thinkers.
Yeah, exactly. There's no one here who's like, hey guys, maybe we should just run Florges, Wet Bull, Skunk +3.
Yeah. Actually, Q's has kind of settled down. Like, he brought the Toucan in week 1. It got swiftly shut down, and he's back to his, like, Mudsdale Gastrodon shit.
Yeah, I mean, the Toucan didn't even... the Toucan was actually the most useful member of the team that week, too.
B plus carry.
Big Blast carried, yeah.
Mata tier, I give it to Mata. Mata is like
Yeah,
a surprisingly nice
no,
team.
Yeah, I do want to make a slight comment before we move on from the Scarlet Violet spot. Both these teams have been like incredibly struggling with their Scarlet Violet the past 2 weeks, specifically. Last week, Lore's got swept in Scarlet Violet. Last week, Stoners also got swept in Scarlet Violet.
Yeah, but
2
they
weeks ago,
they
I think
the Mags.
Lore's,
The Mags are going to be the best Scarlet Violet at the end of the tour.
I think Lore's were 1 and 2 2 weeks ago, and the same thing with Stoners. So over the past 2 weeks, they're looking at a 1 and 5 record for both teams. So I'd be interested to see if that matters. If, like, just having this week, knowing that you're having a bad like Scarlet Violet run the past couple weeks, will you be able to turn it around, and which team would do that? Interested to see how that, I mean,
hey,
affects their mental.
one of
If you're
them has
thinking
to go
about it.
positive.
I do think
That is
it'll
true.
be.
One of these teams will go positive this
Yeah.
week.
I do think it's a slight advantage to Lore's because I'd say Q's does beat Suffis. Although Suffis definitely can remedy a bit. But I do think Axotix has a slight advantage. He's just like solid in these lower tier stuff. And Lax has the advantage there.
I literally just noticed Lax and Phoenix. These are two names you would expect in like black and white, right? Like, if you took this
Well,
exact
not
same
really.
matchup and put it in black and white, I'd be like, this makes sense. Like, I know Lax primarily is like a black and white guy. Same with Phoenix.
I don't think Lax is a
That might be the
black and white guy
RU
at all.
talking.
It might just be like a lower tier thing. Lax is definitely one of the best SV players right now on the site. He won ladder
His
tournament.
record for SB this tour would not convince me of that.
No. His
I mean,
ceiling.
I don't know.
Maybe
Just
that's not
from
his
what
performance,
I've
but
seen
his
of him-
ceiling is his ceiling in SV is higher than basically anyone because he is a ladder tour champion over Vertex. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I think he's good. I think he knows what he's doing.
He's good. He's just.
Yeah, no, I'm not questioning the like caliber of Lax's play. I'm just saying I've seen him play a lot of black and white recently. That definitely is a little bit influenced by RUPL because that is the slot he was manning. Same with Phoenix actually. He was also like a black white guy. So yeah, I don't know. Kind of
Also in
good for me seeing
ZUPL,
most of them in Scarlet Violet.
in ZUPL, Black's is SV2.
Yeah,
Oh, actually,
that's
speaking
fine.
of ZUPL, that might also be where Danny dipped. His team is 0-2,
Yeah.
and he needs to dig them out of the
Eesh.
trenches right now. But yeah, SS Mata tier. I'm not actually sure how they've been doing. Mata is a really, surprisingly fun teammate. Like, you think he'd be one of those guys that just, comes in and grabs a team and clicks, but he actually does do some work.
Only SS and
Mata's 2-3. And tier is 0-3. Uh-oh. Okay.
in SV though.
Oh, and SV. I mean,
Yeah.
would that make me believe in tier and SS?
Would it? No, but I'm just saying, it's a fresh start. It could
I
happen.
think Tier would want to dead game this, but that's not in Mata's interest. You don't want a dead game.
That's like
want an
Mata
ad
wants
call.
to play.
If you lose
Plus,
because of a
they
dead
need to
game,
get their differential
Yeah.
as high as possible anyway.
yeah, they do. Rob Jr. Clem, I think this is a pretty big skill diff.
Yeah, this looks like a wash. Clem is probably like one of the biggest examples on this lineup of carried to a trophy.
Yeesh. Teddy Entro also favored Teddy, I think.
I don't know. Teddy really has not been mixing up like what he's been bringing. I have not liked looking at his teams. Every time I see it, I'm like, damn, that sure does look like something that you brought a million years ago.
A blast from the past. Come on, you have to respect.
Exactly. Like, him getting subbed out versus TKO, dead ass. Part of me thinks that he didn't show up because he knew MZ had the fucking dirt.
Oh yeah. Oh, MZ definitely has some stuff.
MZ absolutely has the dirt on Teddy.
That's funny. Sergio Jisoo, not gonna lie, I think Jisoo is a better clicker. I mean, Jisu's definitely a
Yeah.
better clicker, and I think the clicking will overcome Sergio's knowledge.
Yeah, Sergio knows a lot about this tier. It's just, come on, man, you gotta win. You gotta win one, please.
Jisoo did get Act wind last week, but after the Act win was already called, they did, like, show that they're
They
alive.
played a best of three.
They played a set with Boof.
Yeah.
It was a best of three.
Yeah, they played with Boof.
But also, I'm not gonna settle for Sergio getting an act win. That's a Mickey. My goat needs to win.
Okay, yeah. Lenny versus Tone already happened. I don't think I would have predicted Tone to win, but he did. Which is a bad look already for the Lures, but
Yeah, owners being up is like comical.
next up is Parpar Gold Mason. Gold Mason is negative, and Parpar I think is doing really well. Oh, not
Harper
really well, but he's doing well.
positive. He's 3-2 right now, but his wins are good wins. He lost to Broth, won against Step, won against Plague Dog, and then lost to Carter, and then beat Lily. last
Beating
week.
Lily is impressive.
Yeah. I think he's just generally been like coming to grips with the tier pretty well.
Mm-hmm. ZSPU. Honestly, this is kind of close. I would say this is close-ish if there was something on the line for the Stoners, but I think a locked-in
Yeah.
ZS is a little too much to overcome for just someone that
I
wants
think
to
if
play
we're
and have
going
fun.
purely based on player skill here, this is really close. Like
Yeah.
almost 50-50.
But I think ZS has more knowledge and he has way more motivation to lock in.
Yeah.
So expected Lure win, and whoever plays Stoners in the last week is also expected to win. Haunter's Snatchers is hype.
The finals
kind of
preview. I'm
overlooked
just saying.
because-
Just putting that out there.
Yeah.
Finals preview.
Oh, boo-hoo. Boo.
Ooh.
I don't think
Don't
this
curse
is the
us.
finals. Just personally. MZ Sinnoh. I give it to Sinnoh. Like, I think MZ is like great player, knows a lot about the tier, builds good, and Sinnoh is just that but better. So, you know.
I think Sinnoh is also just a little more unhinged than MZ is, and that's gonna like definitely come into play, I feel.
I've also been watching MZ, like his teams, and I've noticed he does have some very big, like,
Crutches.
yeah, he does make crutches, and I don't know if other people have noticed them, and I won't say what they are, but I've noticed his teams do make There are some holes there, because the way he builds is he makes a solid team, and he just like he accepts that it's gonna be weak to something, and he'll just play it to the best of his abilities, which I think is probably maybe the optimal strat to playing in this tier.
I think it's a
Cohen's
fine
teams-
way to handle things.
Yeah, just accept that it's weak to this thing, and if your scouting is smart, your opponent's not gonna bring it.
Yeah.
Sinnoh, on the other hand, last week he brought 6-0'd by psychic moves, which was pretty odd. And in general, his teams are very samey, so you can actually do something about it. But on the other hand, they're just different enough that they're actually pretty hard to like crack, because they're just like.
And it's also, you never know what his shitmon of the week is going to be.
Mhm.
So it's just like, oh, there's an Articuno, there's a Floatzel, like, there's something that we haven't used in this tier since February.
Yeah.
I wonder what it's going to do. And then you guess wrong and you die.
Floss Ampha.
You know, wait, actually, I will say this too about Sinnoh from last week. So when Sinnoh played, it was like the last game of the week. So we had already won the week, and his initial intention was loading Sudowoodo. So, you know, just be glad we did not see Sudowoodo gaming.
I wanted to see the Sudowoodo. I'm not
Yeah,
glad.
it turns out everybody wanted to see the Sudowoodo.
And we probably should have just let him bring the Sudowoodo, but I don't know.
To be honest, Sudowoodo
I
is
don't
not
even know if he was
something.
actually going to, or he was just bluffing, but still.
I really think he has like
No,
something
I think-
Sudowoodo
I
related
think-
just in the wings.
I
He's
think.
just waiting for the okay.
Actually, I do think there might have been it, because Loki, I'm pretty sure I played him on the ladder, and he was using Orthworm, because it was like
God.
it was like a high ladder PU account that was using Articuno, plus like a bunch of other mons that Hoenn likes, plus Orthworm, and he was doubling like crazy. So I'm pretty sure it's him.
Oh, God.
But also I played him a few times, so it was like something. It was like Rockless first, and then it was an Orthworm, and I'm pretty sure if he kept changing up the Orthworm slot, he might have eventually landed on Pseudo. So I do have an inkling of
That's so
belief in
funny.
it.
That would be so funny, bro.
Yeah, but I don't think Pseudo is like cooking if you're just gonna make it a cust-app lead. I think that's fake cooking.
Yeah. I think,
Yeah.
like, Hoenn really just kind of spins one of those big-ass carnival wheels, and, like, whatever it lands on is what he's bringing for the week.
Yeah. His team against me was amazing. So mad. Why didn't he bring
Yeah.
Why did he bring a nice team against me? Actually, I thought about that game a lot, so it's helped me, I guess, as a player. Floss against Ampha.
Floss has actually been struggling,
Floss
this
beat
tour
me,
a bit.
and although the game was a bit sloppy for me, and greedy for me, but I still think he piloted it quite well, and his teams have been good. I am a fan of Doug's as a chef. He has been cooking
Yeah.
some nice teams.
His wins are good, but his losses
Actually,
are
it could've
also...
It could have
Firing.
been an MZ team, and I do say I think I have some reservations to the MZ team, so this might come off as MZ hating bias, but I do think it was a Doug's team, and I did like the Doug's teams.
Let's say he
Who
won
knows
versus
what a Doug's
you.
team looks like? The man hasn't played this season yet.
I was gonna
No,
say, we don't know what
we
a
know
Doug's
what
team
Doug's-
looks like.
We know what Doug's team looks like. He had a good open run, and he
I
had.
don't know what a Doug's team. Hey, point me to a Doug's game this season. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm
No,
saying.
no, there was one, and he lost.
Doug's teams
Wait, who
are
did he lose
like.
versus? I thought his team just like won every week, and then he dead gamed every week.
No, he played Ments, and then lost to Ments.
Doug's teams are like really fat, and then there's like one fast mon and a win con. But they're usually like really fat.
You know, I am being facetious here. I'm just saying Doug's has like the rest of his team has been pulling a lot of weight, so Doug's has been able to kind of get back to
Doug's
being
is
easy.
0-3 on the sheet, and 2 of those are activity losses.
Yeah,
That's funny. I do think Doug's teams are like, I mean, like, not to glaze the guy, but I do think he finds really creative ways to solve problems that Fat has.
Yeah.
And it's nice to watch.
Won against you, and then he also won against Lax, but also lost to Larry, lost to Exotex, and then lost to Django last week. Like
I don't think Larry Exotex losses are bad at all.
They're not. But compared to his wins, they're a bit worrying, I think.
I don't know. I think I rate Exotex like top 15 in the pool, something like that.
Did you say top 14?
More so, like he's very flip-floppy this season. And it just kind of depends on if we're going to see last week's floss or if we're going to see the beat Fish and Emminator floss. Like,
I mean, beat Fish and Emminator floss might have also lost because I was like super greedy and I didn't expect him to be Scarf Duraludon because it like escaped me, but whatever.
I'm gonna be real. I don't get it.
Yeah, against Thea, you should prepare for something like Sticky Web because she does like bugs.
Oh boy. I mean, it could be that like they're either confident enough that they're going to win enough other slots, which sure.
I don't know if I would be.
Or they just like had 10% had to step out, and they were like, "We're trying to let the bullpen out," and that's what came out of it. I don't know.
Maybe they're throwing for content.
Maybe.
I think if your game plan was to rely on your old gen spots, Hatchers probably would not be the team you want to do that against. 'Cause I'm pretty sure like 3 of our old gen spots are number 1 in their pool. As far as like Sugar Ovens, OBB, and then also, I don't know, is Steph number 1 ADV? I don't know what the ADV pool has been looking like.
ADV, I believe. Let me see, actually.
Yeah, Steph is number 1.
Yeah. Damn.
So we have 3 players, 3 of them, that are number 1 in their respective pools. If there was a week that you did not want to rely on the old gens, probably would be this week. That being said, anything can happen. Their old gen slots again, they've been like performing pretty well. So they flip the upset.
Will win as long as we can help him recover from his crack addiction.
Steppy's like recovery, just growth. Ty Carter's recovery. Steppy's growth as a player has been crazy. Steppy was just a punching bag last year.
He's been doing really, really well. I'm very proud of him this season. Consistently is picking up wins. They're good wins. He's been breaking out of his mold, like team building wise, and figuring out like new solutions to problems that he wasn't really looking at previously.
Yep.
I think it's very rewarding.
This SM game is one to tune in for.
Oh, this is gonna be awesome. This is going to be so good.
This is actually like a finals worthy SM game.
This is just going to come down to who can out-tech the other.
Ooh, I don't know. I think I rate Sugar Ovens as a player more. Like, I haven't really played him in SM, but I've played him in SV, and he can be tricky. I've also played PTF in SV, and he uses like weird stuff on low ladder. So,
yeah. I will say this for PTF specifically, has been on a bit of a slide. Week 4 lost to Rob, and then week 5 lost to Esta. So they're both playing for 2 different things. Both of them, I think, are coming in very highly motivated. Sugar Ovens at this point is coming in trying to defend the undefeated season.
Yeah.
And then PTF wants to break out of that kind of 2-game slide. So if anything else, just more things contributing to like kind of the drama behind this game. This will be
maybe PTF is the heart and soul of the Haunters, and if he goes down, the team goes down with him.
I mean, it is possible that is true. We'll have to see.
Yeah, Sugar Ovens has been just insanely impressive each week. So
yeah.
It's hard to not predict him.
Really just absolutely huge steal. He's just been showing up with solid teams and playing well every single week.
Which was like maybe you expected it, but a lot of other managers did not expect it at all. Or as TKO.
Yeah, I do wish you had a 6K 5-0 slot right now.
Yeah, we
I
do.
mean, that really is crazy. That really is crazy looking at the sheet. I mean, you have a 6 for, stature specifically. Some of these numbers really are, they just don't make sense according to conventional wisdom. I mean, Sugar Ovens, 6K buy, 5-0. Step, 7K buy, 4-1. Like, conventional knowledge, this does not really make a lot of sense. Yeah, you can chalk that up to them having a breakout season, I guess. Managers drafting well.
Yep. Ty Carter. No, wait, we skipped. TKO Alice. TKO had like a horrible choke, didn't he? Last week?
I believe so. It was a little rough. Still positive. Still has been doing
he didn't choke
pretty
that.
all
He'd be
right.
4-1, which is actually really impressive.
It's like, I don't know too terribly much about Oras, so can't say too much. I just know it was something involving.
So I think
Yeah.
they're in a good
I
spot.
just know it was something involving Trick Rotom.
And they're against Alice. Alice, I'm assuming, is like a self-sufficient slot. Actually, I'd give it a TKO.
Alice is doing fine. Like, lost to Avarice, beat Teddy, beat Ape, lost to TKK, and then beat Azog in like 12 turns.
Gil versus Tak. Gil is having a really cool breakout season as like a
And Gil's been doing fantastic. He's playing very
fantastic
well.
3K or 4K.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is definitely also going to be a game to tune in for.
I'm also a Tak believer, and I do believe in Tak a little more. But yeah, Gil's been amazing.
I mean, Tak had a fantastic win last week, right? Versus the then undefeated black-white player LPZ. I mean, that is the one L on the blemish on his record did come from Tak. So I think Tak definitely does get up for these games versus these good players who have like a positive record, whether it be Gil 4-1 at this point or LPZ last week that was 4-0. Definitely a little bit of kind of more extra motivation.
Tak could actually be 4-1 because we actually kind of robbed her when we played her.
Listen. We all know, we all watched that game. So we just understand that Tak's record, there should be another. There should be another win on that sheet, but there is not, and that's life.
Well, yeah, we did sub out the black and white slot after a win, so it goes to show the Mags managers might have also been aware of how the game went down.
Cost of locking in, I suppose.
And Gil Tak, I mean, this will be a great game.
Yeah, Haste Up H Sawa. This is like this is played in every single Premier League in DPP.
Yeah, this one happens eventually.
Yeah, no matter the tier, these two will play. I think Haste Up usually comes out on top, but last week in ZUPL, Hisawa gave an extremely good fight.
Yeah. Ace Up is they both have worse records than you'd expect from them too. Like both of them are. I think Hisawa is 2-3 right now, and then Haste is 2-2.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Let's say both with records that are very much not indicative of their knowledge of the tier or their skill as players. Just
well, they're like both the Snatchers and the Haunters have had really cheap slots make up for it.
Yeah.
And Ty Carter, as mentioned before, struggled last time in SV, but this time I think he's been doing well. Yeah, 3-2.
Yeah.
He's been doing well. Douglas Suzuya, does this game happen?
No.
Yeah, I think it's fair to assume it doesn't happen.
No, Doug's not showing up for this. I do want to say about the ADV game. It could be really interesting considering the fact that these two test with each other very often. So they both have that fun little thing of, do I bring something super like just solid and comfortable, or do I really try to play the 4D chess angle here and figure out what I think they're gonna bring?
In SV, I used to do that with Step a lot, or I'd just like see them online and be like, "Yo, let's test." If I were Ty Carter, I'd just bring something solid, but I don't know. Steph has improved their game since they last touched SV.
I think that's true, but also like ADV as a tier, I think, is one on tech and just being prepared for what's in front of you. And I do think that like if one of them decides I'm just going to go with something comfortable, and then the other one ends up taking the 4D chess angle and doing it successfully, that could be really dire.
I think that's a fair assessment of the tier. I mean, last week, for example, in the ADV slot, we saw, and this is something we hadn't really seen in the tournament up until now, but we saw 2 Pinecos, which, for those of you who are maybe not so familiar with ADV, that is the only spiker. I think that's a bit that and Delibird. I think.
We have Pineco, and then we have Snowrun and Omanite, but people are kind of coming around to Omanite being shit now.
And Omanite, that was the other one. I knew there were 2 spikers, did not remember.
Oh, we have Snowrun too. We have
I mean, Snowrun gets spikes.
Yeah, Snowrun gets spikes.
Snowrun isn't an ADV mob.
Snowrun is an ADV mob.
Wait. I'm thinking about the.
You're
thinking about the Abomination for Evo. Yeah, I'm thinking about the other guy. Snowrun gets spikes too. It's kind of funny. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, we saw 2 Pineco brings last week, and that's kind of, I think, it goes into like part of that kind of 4D chess CZ type thing. Because unlike a lot of tiers, I mean, you know, spikes aren't that common in ADV. And just kind of seeing both of those versus a lot of like kind of grounded teams with no removal, you kind of tend to have a harder matchup versus, you know, if you were prepping for spikes. Yeah, I mean, that definitely kind of makes sense. And we'll see how that plays out in terms of like Step versus Ty Carter, whether or not they'll really get into the weeds of how to kind of metagame versus each other.
All right, and I think let's move on to the big game, the big set of the week that everyone will be watching very intently. The goodras and the pranksters. Starting off
baby.
with Ishtar Beraldo. Oh, this is a good one. This is a really good one.
Yeah, Ishtar has been, I think, definitely struggling a little bit overall with this tour.
I think she's even. Okay, she beat 2-3.
She's even on the season.
Yeah. I mean, the losses also aren't terrible losses. Like, losing to Sinnoh and then losing to
the losses aren't
is
bad.
not the worst rap sheet ever.
The wins aren't too crazy either, though.
Yeah, and then Beraldo is 3-2, beat Taka, lost to MZ, lost to Fish, and then beat Kyus and Xtix. Like,
I actually do
generally
think that
very even.
if pranksters don't overcook, I'd actually just give it to Beraldo because of clicking skill. I think Ishtar's clicking has been a little weird. I also don't think
it depends on if the Goobers can win in the builder, I think.
I also don't really like Ishtar's last brings. Like, she keeps bringing like spike stack, but it's really frail, so you don't actually like get all the tempo you want, and then you die easily.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't really like it. And there's Kilo. The Goodras really like Kilo Wattrel, which is a guy I don't really like.
They feel like first drafts mostly. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, Beraldo's teams, I mean, against me, he forgot to bring a Ghost Resist, but besides that, I've liked them.
They've been alright, yeah. I mean, I think he has decent support too. Like, with the
Drip,
exception
Gum.
of that, I think he has
Actually, no.
people on the team who can tell him like if something's an overcook.
Yeah. I don't think Gum is helping SV. However, they do, besides Drip Legend, have... Okay, not really anyone. Morgue, I guess.
Yeah, Morg, and then maybe
Morg.
some words of advice from Gum.
But I do know Beraldo builds for himself. Drip Legend is a competent builder, although he had one really sus week where he brought something really bad. But
Yeah.
whatchamacallit? I think he'll be. I think overall Drip Legend's fine. His record reflects it. Who else is building here? Men's Meat, I saw he uses like stolen teams and stuff. Larry, I'm not sure he built for himself. Larry's teams are actually weird, so I'd expect them to either be like Gum or his own builds. Like they kind of remind me of Blind Draft teams. Like he uses Snorlax, he uses Frostmoth.
It could also be like rejected Beraldo shit.
Yeah, that could be rejected too. Slade could maybe be a builder on this team as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd give it very, very, very slightly to Beraldo because I know Ishtar is going to be motivated as hell. So I think we can expect, even though Ishtar has been shaky, I think this week will be her best week. But I also think it'll be Beraldo's best week. Like these teams need to tap in.
Yeah. Everyone here, like on both sides of this matchup, just needs to lock the fuck in right now.
So I really do think if both players are playing at their maximum, then Beraldo's ceiling is higher.
Yeah.
Which is the same for Django and Larry. I think Larry has proven he's a super threat.
Yeah, I agree. I do think that with Django coming off of a win last week versus Floss, which is pretty impressive, and playoffs being on the line, I think he's going to lock in.
Mm-hmm. I will say Django's team last week was like... I want to say I built that team, but I didn't build the exact 6. But that looking at a team like that makes me really happy. I thought it was an extremely well-built team.
Yeah, it was really cool too.
One
you
of
got
my
to see some
favorites of the
stuff
tour.
that, you don't normally see. There was Guno.
Mm-hmm. I love
Always
Guno
loved to see
teams.
Guno.
And I do
Guno's
play around with
always
Guno
fun
teams a
to
lot, and a lot of the ones I do see in tour I don't like, but that one I really did like. Asa Drip Legend. Normally I'd bold Asa here in a heartbeat, but she has been kinda off, and Drip Legend's been kinda on.
Yeah, Drips, honestly, also, like, every time I predicted against him, he's shown me up. Like, especially when it's on the merit of, oh, I think this person is just a better clicker, and then he shows up and he wins. So,
Yeah.
If he makes a fool of me and loses this week, I'm a psychic.
Well, I'll still bold Asa because I've seen her ceilings, and I know that they can get pretty high. But, I don't know, she's been struggling. She choked against me, and then her other weeks haven't been impressive, both team and play-wise. Although I thought against me she brought a good team.
I think it's, again, really just a case of who's gonna, like, show up and bring their A game.
Oh, she beat Cuse, which, yeah, that's good. And she
Yeah,
beat
got
Fiend.
revenge for Ladder Tour.
But, like, her Seraph's
The Fiend game was
game-
close, too, though.
Yeah, that was close. Seraph's was close too. She timed out, unfortunately. But it
Yeah.
was lost, but there were definitely
There
some
was a-
universes where she won that.
Yeah.
And the MZ game, like, I just looked at preview and I was like, come on, Asa. You know better than bringing that team.
Yeah. I do think, though, that also Asa is going to be motivated by locking in so she doesn't go negative.
Yeah, I do think she dropped out of ZUPL this week, even though she's 2-0. So I'm guessing it's to just keep focused on PUPL because you need to win this week.
Yeah, this is like the playoffs drive for these teams.
I'll lose this week, yeah. Meru Gum. I'd give it slightly to Gum, but Meru's been like I personally sleep on them. Actually, they're 2-2. I thought they were 3-2.
Yeah, I think Meru locks in here more than Gun does, especially depending on how late into the week this game happens.
I wouldn't count Gum out.
I wouldn't. I think it's going to be very close either way. But I don't know. I think that there is also a universe where this ends up being a dead game, honestly.
That's true. Actually, maybe not. I think they're like friends, right?
Yeah, they are.
Well, I guess that could also be
But
that
also,
game.
like, Gum's not the kind of person who would play a game just to play the game.
Well, I would say I'd slightly give it to Gum, but because Gum also wants to win this week. I'm sure they want to win this week.
Yeah, I will also give it to you that Meru's losses have been much more depressing to look at. Getting punked by Mata loading Regirock, and then kind of getting scuzzed. Just generally much more unfortunate games on
beat
the
OBB though.
Beat OBB, and then like the wins are also of similar quality. Like,
yeah, they are.
I don't know. I think this is a lot closer than a lot of people think it is.
Yeah, I think this is close, but personally, I go Gum. Esta Hacker would have to be Esta because seemingly nobody likes what Hacker's been doing in SM.
I don't get his teams really. Like, they're not bad. I just don't get what he's doing.
Maybe it's like a piloting issue more than a team issue.
His game versus Benny was a tragedy, dude. He had like 3 1-game states and managed to throw all 3 of them. It was bad. He beat PU, which is pretty cool. Yeah, that's good. And then went right back and lost to Rob. Which,
well, that's also
no
not bad.
shame.
That's Rob Jr.
Yeah, no shame in losing to Rob, but like, I don't know. I don't think I really trust what Hacker's cooking this tour.
Yeah, people have
I
been
know
trusting.
he's good. I feel like he doesn't get this tier.
Aberforth Keo is interesting. I don't know who I'd go here. Oh, does he have momentum now?
Abe's back on the come up. Yeah, he won his last 2.
Oh, but wasn't against TKO, which was like a choke?
TKO was, the throw against TKO, but he did still win, which means that the motivation is there. Like, he has the momentum. I think.
Yeah, he has momentum. Momentum's important.
Especially, again, with this game that is super duper, like, season-defining important.
Yeah. This is the game you gotta lock in, so
That's right. I think Abe shows
wins in the sales. What about Keo? How's Keo been doing?
I think Keo has a very similar record.
No, it's 1-3. Wait, what is Aberforth's again? 2-3. Yeah, they're similar. Okay, yeah, you're right.
One against Crying, and then kind of just flunked out.
Oh yeah, I watched the Teddy game, and that was over really soon.
Yeah, it's not like they're easy opponents that he's losing to, so it's not the worst ever, but it is still a 2-loss into off week into another loss, and that's really unfortunate.
Also, isn't this guy old? Got a better thing to do than play Pokemon?
Mark, maybe. I don't know if Keo's old or not. I think so.
Okay.
Well, it also depends like what your metric for old is. Like I think he was around in like 2015, 2016.
Boomer. Anyway. Evigaro triple axel. I think normally you'd bolt Evigaro always, but she's been
She's
having
tilting.
a slump. Yeah, tilt. Oh, wait. Was this... Okay, loss, win, lost. Okay, so lost the last 2 weeks. So yeah, this is tilt. But the goodras
However,
need you.
I will also say, her losses in this tier typically have been to people who are not mainers.
Gil, LPZ, Lax. Yeah.
Well, with the exception of LPZ, like, but yeah, Lax and like Gil is a black and white guy, but like not typically for this tier. So, shit, man, I don't know. Like the upset looks really possible here.
It does. It really does. How's Triple Axel been doing? Let's see that.
He is like
Ooh,
very
3-1.
good right now. He's like, yeah, he's tied for like second in the pool, I believe.
Nice Phoenix win.
Yeah.
And the one lost LPZ is like, that's LPZ.
I mean, part of me wants to root on his downfall because he ranks LPZ 7th on the PR sheet and then
What?
immediately gets trashed by him and then takes an off
Ooh.
week. Which is like, that's a really bad look.
That's funny.
But also, he's been showing up after that. Like, everything else after that has been a win. So I can't in good faith say that he doesn't have a
Okay,
chance
yeah,
here.
so one of the players is tilting and the other has momentum, but it is the week where you have to shake all of that off or ride it.
I was
If
saying,
you're triple
lock-in week.
Lock-in week, yeah. I think Ishtar's
I
going to be
also
able to
do
convince
agree,
Evigaro to go crazy.
Yeah, I think if Evie brings something that's just really good in the kind of standard shit that Axel's been loading, it could go in her favor very easily. I think this is one where she's going to have to win in the builder.
Jabba Slade. I'm actually looking forward to this since I've teamed with both of them before.
Yeah,
I
think
don't really
Slade
know
has
who to
been
give it
doing
to.
Fine. Like, he's had a couple of games. I think he's, 1-1 right now for DPP?
Definitely has the tournament experience, and like that translates into clutch factor. And I do think Slade is a little unclutch, but
Yeah, I think he does have the small issue of like that thing where you choke and then you immediately realize you choked and then you're like, ah, shit, I'm an idiot, and then you tilt.
yeah, kind of. I feel it. I just don't think Slade has like enough high stakes reps yet to the point where it translates to like a really reliable clutch factor. And but I will say Slade,
especially against an opponent who's as good as Jabba is.
Yeah, if you've ever teamed with Slade, you know this guy is a prep maniac, which evens it a bit.
And he does have support here, so it's not like he's going in completely solo. Although I don't know how much Trix is going to be helping him, but like, the option is there.
Yeah, makes sense. So,
yeah,
close game, I'd say. I would
I
slightly
think
give it to
Jabba's
Jabba.
favored, but I do think this is way closer than people think it is.
Okay, Slobber Knocker. Hype ADV game. This might be the most hype game of the hype set, to be honest.
What's insane about this to me is that after this game, either Broth or Lily is going to be 3-3.
Yeah.
That's
rough.
like, that being an inevitable fact is kind of crazy.
Yeah, I will be tuning into this ADV game. Not a tier I usually watch, but this is like the two big names of the tier fighting it off in the craziest like spectacle week.
And
I have only one question for Broth in the call. Would you lose?
Yes. Gojo is not here with us.
damn. I will say, Lily's schedule up until now has looked definitely less hard. Like overall, I am just generally a bit more impressed with Broth's road to here than I am with Lily's. Like brought rain and kind of got dunked by Ty Carter. And then beat Gold Mason, beat Monai, beat Plague Doc, and then lost to Parpar last week, which was also a pretty big upset.
Parpar locked in.
Parpar locked in. I just generally believe that this is going to be... I know, like, Lily can be difficult to build for in this tier, just based on sample size and, like, variance alone. So, yeah, anyone's game, really. Like, I think this might be just a genuine 50-50 split.
Yeah. Amazing game. Noons versus Men's
happens in the week that is critical for playoffs.
Yeah. Noons Men's Meets. Is that how you say it? Men's Meet? Fake jam pad?
I don't know.
So as we know, Men's Meet is struggling.
Yeah, Mence is having an awful time of this. I think he can definitely pull this, but I do think that this is going to be an uphill fight both ways, honestly. Like,
He's
both of these guys are the kind of guys who will show up and they will put everything they have into the game, and that's it. Like,
I think despite the 0-4, Men's Meet is going to be really hard to stop. And I think pranksters have a lot of faith that this is like their quote-unquote auto-win slot.
Yeah, I agree. I
despite
do think
Noons being the opposition.
I do think also, yeah, it's Tuesday, and they haven't played yet, which means that we did not get Noons Tuesday gaming, so that might factor into how things shake out.
I am wondering though, because I do think Pranksters SV has looked nicer. I haven't really paid attention to Men's Meets SS and SM games, if they even go to that, or if he's just like 2-0ing everyone.
Fine. Let me see actually in the replays, because I know Drew took him to 3.
Yeah, Drew did.
Yeah, Drew took him to 3.
Danny dead gamed.
Doug's took him to 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's still to be seen, but he seems to be doing well in the old gens.
Yeah, he's doing fine.
Tough.
I mean, also him winning in 2 a couple times is actually a benefit for him in a way, because that means that he has to cook less SM sauce altogether, and he can just use.
Well, I do think Men's Meet is going to win the SV game.
I think if he loses, it's going to be a reverse sweep for old gens.
That could also be true. Men's Meet's just like super solid in general.
Yeah. I think it's just like he picks the one tour that he's going to lock in and care about, and then he utterly dominates that, and then everything else is whatever happens.
Isn't he in Slam Playoffs? That might be the tour he's doing.
Is he?
Yeah, he is, because Danny last year also played in round 1 in Slam Playoffs. So Danny is going to want revenge. That's why he's gone from PUPL. He wants the revenge that badly.
Yeah, Danny's going on his training arc for Slam right now.
And I think that wraps up our predictions. We can segue this, since we did just talk about the goodras, we can segue this into their
the goodras game.
Bye.
Oh, true.
Their bye.
Yeah. We have a unfortunate ban, and we're not sure if they're getting another player yet because it put them below the limit, but also
there's precedent for not getting another player.
Yeah. So it's possible they don't, but in the event they do, there have been a couple of snubs this draft. Oathkeeper.
I would say too that before we get into snubs, I would say like some teams are definitely with a very weak slot. Like for example, the like the Golurk's SS slot with Blood Ace. The one that's like those kind of slots. There's a few of them in this tournament where they're really struggling. Goodras notably don't have a slot like that, so they can just draft for vibes if they want to.
Yeah.
Big Tony.
Also, the player they lost was like the most inconsequential player on the team.
Yeah.
Like, hey, if anything, this tournament has proven that the like cheaper buys are, very capable of stepping up, outperforming what their net worth might lead you to believe. The amount of like sub 7K people that are like super positive right now is like kind of shocking actually. If you just like go through team by team, there's like a lot of them. Like Beats Black 4-1, 5K. Look at that. Got Gil 4K buy, another 4-1. Estarosa 7.5, 4-1. Like there are a ton of these guys. Lenny 3-1, 5.5.
Evans, the winningest player in the tour right now, 6K.
Yeah, the winningest player in the tour was 6K. Like a lot of these kind of cheaper players have really kind of come into their own. Had a breakout season, if we're being honest. And in some cases, a lot of cases, are just leading their teams in terms of their records. So this, while might not seem like the most substantial of decisions, turns out into something that could swing some momentum if the Goodras are smart about it. So yeah. I'm interested to see how they handle this. There's a lot of talent in this pool, a lot of snubs, like you mentioned before.
You've got some PU mainstays, people who are active in the forums and the Discord. You got people like Corby, Bleehy, Cheru, Leo Perry, Zooey is arguably like the biggest snub of the draft. You got some tours guys here too. You got Oathkeeper. You got let's see.
One person we were deliberating because we got Exotic in the end, but our last pick was a coin flip between Exotic and Lizzie, previously known as Liz Angeles.
Lizzie's great. Quinn only signed up for best of 3, so that's not really a good sub, but like he's good.
I remember Ara was on the Goodras last year, actually, or on the Slagoomfies. Ara was on their team. They signed up here in DVP. But I do remember their shoutouts. They were like, this Ara person is really cool. Thank you for being on the team. And I remembered who Ara was because they have a Serial Experiments Lane profile picture.
Oh, nice.
And who else? Akimo is here.
Bella didn't get drafted.
Who did?
Bella?
No, Bella lost to Drud.
No, Bella.
Oh, Bella, the Portuguese guy. Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't get drafted. Dex didn't get drafted.
Akimu was a nice presence during PU World Cup Europe. He's a German player.
Okay.
Bleehy Cheru was like... I was getting DMs by people to buy Cheru, and I unfortunately just didn't know. Like, I didn't do my research on who they were.
Rabia is undrafted. Pokeslice is undrafted.
Pokeslice seems like a fun guy.
Yeah, there are a lot of picks here that you could, like, depending on what you want to do with this essentially free pick.
FFK in a Fable, that's like OU ladder heroes.
Yeah. The Chungler, Suki, there's some RU fellas.
Ryu Snow and Havoc Knight are like the young Brazilian duo. They try hard in the build every tour.
OJR is in here.
Oh, OGR. He was good in World Cup, I think.
Yeah. Whale Lord, he's a pretty big LC guy.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Amphil wanted to get him because they're tight.
Platinum.
Batty
Platinum.
is still in the pool. Batty's a real tryhard.
Yeah, Batty's awesome. I got him as a UPL. He's awesome. Platinum is actually a snub, I'd say. Because they're very quiet. Like, they don't really speak much, but I know that they are a very competent ladder player, and they do sign up for ladder tour, and they do. I think they make playoffs of it. They're just like extremely low key, but Platinum is a ladder player I do sometimes steal tech from. Like when I run into them. I'm unfortunately I'm like a leech. I run into people on ladder and I steal everything.
Yeah, Unzipped Kroger, a UU guy, he's pretty fire. He's cool.
Oh, that guy.
Nasrock is really active. Sankey Carp.
Sankey Carp, yeah, he's funny. Toother. Oh no, but I hope nobody drafted Toother.
Uberskitty is in the draft pool. I mean, depends on
if you need
how much you trust him to cook and not pass you like actual crack.
Yeah, Uberskitty would be more so like a team presence, I'd say, which is what you'd want, I think, if you're a Goodra.
Yeah, I think like you want someone who can offer you some kind of support. But like,
there's
this
also
is just...
Bot Builder 07 who may or may not be a Hoenn confirmed alt. He's gonna go 8-0 if you buy him.
Oh my god, Hoenn's double timing teams.
Would you put it against him?
Yeah, I would. I would hold it against him for double timing.
No, I mean, like, could you actually see him do it as part of one of his elaborate trolls?
Honestly, the only reason I say no is I don't think he has the time to do that.
Yeah. I mean, he did have the time to hold ZU suspect hostage by forfeiting against non-suspect accounts and sniping every suspect account.
What the fuck?
Oh yeah, you didn't hear about that?
No.
Okay, yeah.
Of course you'd do that.
He held the suspect hostage by tryharding against suspect accounts and forfeiting against non.
That's actually awful.
Yeah, since the ladder's so dead, it's easy to find people. Like, it's easy to snipe them. Anyway, Fragments. I don't know if Fragments would care.
Fragments is on my team.
Oh, you bought him?
Yeah. Okay, so there's a little tab off to the side that says undrafted.
Oh. Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm bad. I'm so bad. Oh, okay, yeah, Big Tony. We didn't even mention Big Tony that much.
How could we forget Big Tony?
Yeah,
it's got to be Big Tony. I actually don't care about anyone else on this list. It's got to be Big Tony.
It does, unfortunately. Like, he made the video and everything. I think we've all seen the Big Tony draft video.
Mm-hmm. If you don't get Big Tony, what are you doing?
If you don't...
If you take Big Tony, you remove the power core of the Snatchers, and they suddenly become weak.
Us. They've taken the heart and soul of our team.
Yeah.
And he's not even on the team.
Tony has actually cooked. He's actually cooked 90% of all teams that we've built or that we've brought across all tiers. So, no, you want to nerf us? That's all what you tiers. Do. You draft Big Tony.
Yeah, the ADV, Big Tony.
ADV too.
DPP, that's also Big Tony.
Oh,
every tier, bro. DPP, ADV, Black, White. You think any of us can build any of those teams?
No. Wait, this guy is worth like 10K if he can support every slot like that.
I know, right?
God damn.
I mean, okay. All bits aside, I would not be surprised. He puts in a lot of effort. He's a good teammate. He can play the game. I think he got his cap team their first win in SV.
Yeah, I will say his cap team, they were like 0-6 or 0-9, something like that, across the first couple weeks of Cap PL. Big Tony stepped in, won that first week for them, never looked back.
Damn.
Yeah.
Nah, the Big
It
Tony
is
is
gonna be-
him.
Unironically,
like-
Big Tony has that big time factor. Like I will say this: if you need him to step up, he's capable. Will he make some cracked out decisions? Also, yes. He's not like he doesn't have the experience of a vet yet. So
Yeah.
you know, when the lights
I
get
will
bright,
say,
it's a little questionable whether or not he'll be there to step up. But
it is going to be the most heartfelt goodbye. Like,
hmm,
we're going to have a teary-eyed send-off for our boy.
I low-key see them getting Ara, though, too. Actually, I don't see them in undrafted, though, but...
I
I'm
think
pretty
there are
sure.
a lot
I
of
will
people.
also mention that. So I feel like there's a. Okay, I know RU better, so I'm gonna like kind of relate this back to RU. There is a kind of like stereotypical Evie Garo pick in RU. Whenever Evie is managing a team,
Mhm.
there's kind of like this group of people that you kind of see her pick from like perennially. I assume a similar thing kind of applies to kind of Ishtar and how she runs her ship,
Yeah.
along with Mary,
Yeah.
of course. And I think Ara definitely kind of falls into that category of the Ishtar pick. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's someone who they have a bit of history with already. It has been, from what y'all have said, a pretty good like chat presence. I would not be surprised to see Ara get picked up here if that is the case.
Yeah, there are a lot of what like I would qualify as bestie picks here.
Oh, there's also definitely Cherub, or because I know Bella was the one that was like, someone please get Cherub, and Bella is on the Goodras. I'm not sure how much influence Bella has, but I'm sure they really want
This is
Cherub.
Bella trying to decide if she wants them to pick Cheru or Leo Berry.
But yeah, Ara, I would bet on Ara, Cheru, or Big Tony, because you just can't not go with Big Tony.
You can't. You
You
got
made
it.
the video and everything, bro. I mean, come on.
He really did put so much effort into trying to get drafted. If I had seen that, I would have gotten him.
Yeah. So if they do get the pick, and I like, as much as I want them to lose, like everyone wants them to lose, I would like to see them get like reimbursed in some way, because they didn't have anything to do with that ban. Come on. But yeah, we shall see. And I think we can either wrap it up here or do a game analysis. Truthfully, I kind of want to wrap it up.
Yeah, we can wrap it up.
Yeah, get the.
There
I don't-
will always
I think
be
if we
more
analyze
games.
a game in depth, it'll go past the 2-hour mark, which I don't really want to do.
Yeah, that's fine.
Alright, so thank you for watching. Look forward to this week, because we have so many good games. Basically every matchup here has like a plot surrounding it, so to speak. So yeah, look forward to it. Thank you.